And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly, truly fantastic day today. So, today we're going to be talking about another reason why modern NBA players could not compete with eras of the past. If you follow this channel, you know that we talk about this all the time, and there is nothing anyone can say to convince me that these modern NBA players in general could compete with the players of the past, just from a toughness standpoint. You know, again, you can talk about the extra flash that people like to call skill all you want, but these players are severely lacking in fundamentals. And I kind of wanted to talk, and I've talked about this before, but I kind of wanted to talk about the lack of true role players. You know, in today's modern NBA is everybody thinks that they can do everything. Everybody is a rebounder, a playmaker, you know, a shooter. Everybody is everything. And this is another reason that people bring up to say why the modern NBA is better. But I think this is a specific reason why, or one of the reasons why this era couldn't compete with eras of the past, is because the eras of the past had people who specialized in things, which I think makes for a much more cohesive, flowing team basketball. And the reason I say this is this. Just think about if you were building a car. Now, I don't know about building cars, but I think I can use this to get my point across. If you were building a car, you know, maybe you have someone who build the engine, maybe you have someone who build the transmission, you know, maybe someone works on the body of the car, the style of the car, what the car would look like. You know, maybe someone makes the glass, the tires. You know, they have specific people for each of these jobs, right? People who specialize. Someone who specializes in making the engine. Someone who specializes in transmissions. You know, who specializes in the body of the car and the style and whatnot. These people who, this is what they do. All I do is make engines. And I'm very good at it. Now, but what if you had a bunch of people working on the car who was like, you know, I work on the engine a little bit, and I work on the body of the car a little bit. You know, we'll all just chip in and help each other with every part of the car. This would not make sense. This would not make sense for the simple fact that you want the person who is best at making engines to make the engine. You want the person who is best at doing transmissions to do the transmission. And to me, having people who are less than compromises the quality of the part. And this is the same thing with basketball. To me, back in the day when you had your defensive specialists, when you had your rebounders, when you had your shot blockers, you know, when you had your shooters, when you had your three-point shooters specifically, you know, when you had your post players, when you had players who specialize in a very specific thing, this made for a much more cohesive team. First of all, let's talk about this. You know, in the modern NBA, everybody's a scorer. And this shouldn't be the case. Why? Because everybody's temperament isn't the same. Everybody's level of poise isn't the same. Everybody's ability to handle pressure isn't the same. So you got some players who, they can't miss in practice, but man, they can't hit a shot in the game. Why is this? Because they can't handle the pressure of the game. You have some players who may be great for 3 quarters, but in the 4th quarter, you can't count on them to make a shot. Why? Because they can't handle the 4th quarter pressure, and so on. Maybe they're great throughout the duration of the game, but they're not great in the clutch. Like if you need a shot to tie the game or win a game, they're not great for that. So it would make sense to have the player who is most who is most equipped, who is most experienced for the specific job to do that. Now, if we're talking about a player like Michael Jordan is great in all things. But still, what made the team work is that he had everybody else had specific jobs. He could count on Steve Kerr to hit shots, or before, if we're talking about the first three-peat, he could count on players like Horace Grant to be a good defender and a good rebounder, and also, add in a few points as needed. He could count on players like John Paxson to hit the three. And so this is my point, is when you have people who are specifically geared for a specific thing on a team, this makes much more for, like I said, a cohesive team. Not only that, but it also kind of takes the ego out of it a little bit, right? Because everybody wants to score. Everybody wants to score. Everybody wants to be known as a scorer, because that's the glorious part. And so to me, when you have everybody thinking that they should participate in the scoring as a whole, and what I mean by that is like there's no hierarchy of scoring, then again, to me, that lets the ego get involved more than it should. Whereas if your job is just to rebound, that's your primary job, then you're not even thinking about scoring in the same way. Then you become consumed with doing your job as a rebounder, and you accept the fact that, hey, I'll get a few points here and there, but my focus is rebounding. If you're a defensive specialist, that takes the pressure and the ego out of thinking that you need to be recognized for scoring, because your importance to the team is to defend, and you can take pride in being a defender, and like I said, and still have the mindset that, okay, I know I may get a few points here and there as needed, but my focus, my importance for the team is this job of defending. But yeah, so to me, having roles is another big reason, is another reason why these modern players could not compete with players of the past. Is because everybody thinks that they should be able to do all things, while the players of the past are secure in their roles and they are focused on very specific things that add to the whole. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. I was just thinking about this, and kind of what sparked it is I was thinking about the fact that Dennis Rodman, a player like Dennis Rodman, would get 70 to 80% of the rebounds in today's game. Simply because he is focused on rebounding. He doesn't have the need to score. So yeah, it just kind of got me thinking about the whole role player thing again, and how important that is, and why these players, the lack of true role players today would be a hindrance for them to compete with players of the past. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about? Do you think the modern NBA in this more jack of all trades mentality, jack of all trades, master of none, would be able to compete with past eras who have defined roles, who are dedicated to their roles? Do you think that they would be able to compete with teams like that? But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly, truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.